Going on, guys? How are you doing? In this video, a little update on the No FAP. The No FAP movement. The No FAP is something that a lot of people kind of talk about. And you know what? I did it for 6 months, 6 month No FAP, and I want to make an update on it and why I don't believe that No FAP is good anymore. And you'll understand why. All right. I still do believe that watching pornography is not really whatever you want to be doing with your time, but no FAP movement, not fapping, as a man, as a young man in your 20s, in your 30s, we use that. It's a kind of a red pill idea. Hey, you shouldn't be fapping. It builds up a lot of tension because we're men. We have sexual desires. We're men. You're holding it all up, the abstinence. And I get it. It can help for a few days, a few weeks, because then you're focused on a lot of things. You get that tension, that you're channeling that energy. But at the end of the day, have you ever had a cat that is not sterilized? Or a dog that is not sterilized? Have you seen how that cat acts? I have. My cat wasn't sterilized. I had him for 3 years. And trust me, it was a nightmare because he was frustrated and he wanted to basically fight all the time and freaking release that sexual energy on everything. And run away of my house, and now after being sterilized he's just calm and quiet. And I'm not saying we should be sterilized, but I'm saying is that when you build up that tension in you, that frustration, man, it can lead to a lot of unwanted battles that you bottle up all that energy, all that tension. And sometimes you just gotta do it, man. You just gotta do it just because it relaxes you. And as a man, when you're too frustrated, you got too much of that tension, you're abstaining, well, you end up doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, but just because you're sexually frustrated. And it shows when you talk to women. You become kind of a slave to women because they're the only people that can give you that sexual relief. So can you imagine how much dependent you become to women? You kind of give them, you put them even more on a pedestal because you're like, I'm not fapping because I want to stay disciplined to no fap. So next thing you know, when you meet a woman, you're like, she's my only way for me to empty my all my energy that is bottled up. And next thing you know, she runs away. Why? Because she can feel it. She can feel that you're too tense. You got too much of attention. You want it so much, so bad. And that frustration, I get when you're saying channel it into other things. And that's why I agree on not watching pornography. But when it comes to fapping, I mean, if monkeys do it, and I know I'm not saying, hey, fap every minute or every second, but I would say don't go to the extreme of not fapping at all because you'll get frustrated. I've done it for 6 months. February 9th till July, all right? Or freaking end of July. Well, now, July, end of June. So I don't know how many months that is, but hey, that was a long time, and it was enough for me to get so frustrated and so angry at things that you shouldn't be. You become more emotional because then it's like if you're an unsterilized cat in a house looking for something that you can never find. That's pretty much it. And then you'll be like, well, you just gotta go out dating and this and that. Well, you know what? When you go out in the world and with that frustration and that much of this, your mind, you don't think with your mind anymore. All you're thinking about is, I gotta empty my balls because then I can say that I emptied my balls without fapping. Screw that, all right? Screw that. And that's just not the way of doing it because you're basically a slave to a theory that supposedly makes you more hardcore, but it's ruining your life. So that's just how I see it. And hey, ideas are there to test and to change. And I know I was a big proponent of saying no fap and focus on yourself. And I still do for some people. I've got a client that he faps 4 times a day. And I'm like, man, you gotta taper that off, Maybe you gotta use that time wiser. But if you're not fapping for 4 or 5 months and all you're thinking about is doing it, or all you're thinking about is meeting a woman and, then you become a slave to it. You become a slave to that release. And that's not a good place to be, because then you're just not in your flow state. Being in your flow state is when you're quiet, calm, collected, breathing through your nuts, you know, breathe through your balls. That's Elliot Holmes. One time he said that. Breathe through your balls. Gotta be calm. And that's just how we should be as men. But when you're not fapping and we're too tense, we're overthinking. Like, yeah, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta go on Tinder. I gotta swipe right on this. I gotta do this. I gotta meet this girl. I gotta take her home. You're just fighting for breadcrumbs. And as soon as you realize that and you kind of let go of that sexual frustration that you have, you're like, whoa, all right. Now it's time for me to chase what really matters for me. And that's pretty much it, guys. No FAP. Don't overdo it. So FAP as it helps you. Use FAPing for helping you, you know? That's pretty much what I'm saying. Use it to help you. Don't be dependent on a movement or on a mindset or on something that is not really helping you. It's making you look more badass or more hardcore. Or, oh, I haven't fapped for 3 years. But man, that doesn't necessarily mean that you gain a medal or anything, you know. If anything, you're just so sexually frustrated that people think you're weird because every time you talk to a woman, you get a boner, you know. So hey, I've been there, trust me. After those 6 months, hey, I didn't even want to get too close to my clients, because I'm training those beautiful women, and I'm like, it's hard, you know, it's hard. Your mind starts going to other places, and you're like trying to go out on dates with them, whereas they just want to work out, and you're here because you haven't fapped. All your mind is thinking about that woman. You know, you're blinded by your frustration. So that's it, guys. Don't go all in on the no FAP, you know. Just don't watch pornography. I don't know. Use your imagination or photos or pictures. Hey, Instagram pictures. Instagram is full of pictures these days that you don't even need to watch anything else. But I mean, they used to use magazines back in the days. But I think there is something evil with pornography that pollutes your mind. And that's something about watching it. You know, something bad about watching it. You know, I can't really put my hands on it, but watching pornography is just not only the nudity part, but the whole acting. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it touches someone, because I would have loved seeing that video a few months ago and be like, hey, yeah, well, why are you suffering so much? And trust me, doing it for 6 months got me into some troubles that I didn't want, just because I was so frustrated. You kind of get that anger bottled up. So yeah, guys, hey, we live and we learn. Channel the energy when you need it, and see you guys soon. Ciao.